A lot of people who talk about board games, they do influence me. But if they love certain genres of games that I just don't love, I don't care what you say because it's kind of invalid to me. Like, if you love co-op games and then you say this game is awesome and it's one of your favorite games, I don't know if I should believe you that I will like it because you like co-op games and I can't stand them. And I don't know if I should trust what you're saying.
I see some nice collection behind you. I don't know how many board games you have at the moment.
I don't know.
You don't track at all?
No, I stopped. Is that my real name is...
Hello everyone, my name is Nezi, and today's guest in this series is Banzainator. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
It was great. I've been meaning to talk to you because you have such a good, positive energy and enthusiastic about, board games and games overall. So my background is a little bit, I have a major in linguistics in Chinese, weird. So this name, Banzainator, what does that mean?
It is actually part, so it was my Clash of Clans name. So have you ever played Clash of Clans?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like the Terminator, but it's Banzainator. So that's where I got my name. And then when I started the board gaming scene and I started live streaming on Twitch, I had to figure out a name and I was like, I'll just use my Clash of Clans name. And so that now it's stuck and now that's my brand and I go by Banzainator. I go by Bonds for short.
Nice Bonds. So it's so you like Banzai comes from Japanese, right? It's like at 10,000 lives, was enthusiastic. Yeah. So it's a really nice pick. How long have you been using this specific name?
Oh man. When was Clash of Clans? That was like 11 or 12 years? Yeah. And then I started my Banzainator brand around 2020.
Mm-hmm. That is so nice. So this is usually how I ask my guests. I type their name and on Google and just press space and just look at it. What is the most searched on that specific person or a nickname? So when I Googled you, the most searched is Banzainator real name and Banzainator age. You're totally fine not answering because I totally answer this as a content creator. It should be sometimes secret.
Yeah. I did see that. I think it's hilarious because if you what Google will pull up is that my real name is Kaipo. And Kaipo is my dog's name. So I love that Google did that. I'm okay with it. My real name is Kaipo, and that is my dog's name. So perfect.
That is nice.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, that is nice.
And age, you never ask a lady her age. Why are you Googling that?
I'm not Googling. I'm Googling what others Google.
Yeah. Why are people Googling my age?
I don't know. Like, did you do it yourself ever? Like, you type your own nickname and just see what people looking for you?
Yeah, I have done that to figure out what I actually need to protect myself more regarding private information. So I've done it for like security purposes, but other than that, it's like, okay, yeah, I already know, and then that's it. Or to see like, okay, how is Google spreading my brand, and how can I maximize on that potential to spread it even further?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally makes sense. So about how you first got into this hobby about board gaming, like what's the first modern game other than Monopoly, Risk, Uno, of course, got you hooked into the hobby and you decided to go do something about this hobby?
Yeah, so my very first board game was the Castles of Burgundy, and I played it with a couple friends, and they were so nice and they taught it so well, and I had such a good experience, and I was actually out of college already. And I thought, this is a really cool type of new game that I've never heard of. And I wonder how I could play more of those types of games. And so that was years before I actually started into the hobby. There was a large gap of time when I didn't actually go back and play more games. But then when I started playing more and more, I started an Instagram account. And that Instagram account was back when board gamers on Instagram were non-existent. And so I started one of the very first board game accounts, and it took off. and we realized that it was a really good way to connect with publishers and to start getting sponsorships and everything. I'm no longer in control of that account. I left that account, but after that, I started my own brand, and that's where it kind of took off. And I started my own brand, not because of board games, but because of streaming on Twitch. And then once I got my own PC, I built my own PC. I got an overhead camera. And then that's when I started doing more board game content related things and playing more board games and being part of more game nights and everything. And then that's when I started working for companies, and I even worked for a couple board game companies before. I currently work full time for myself and freelance. I started mid-January, so right now it's mid-April. So I'm very new to full-time freelance, just working for myself and working and not working for anyone else. And of course, right when I start doing that, there's some stuff going on in the US right now, and a lot of things are shutting down and things are extremely stressful. So yeah, I would start freelance during a really stressful time. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how long I get to do this. But at the end of the day, I got to pay rent. I got to pay my bills. And that's the most important thing is paying my bills, So,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah, it is fun. The pay range is just crazy low for I don't know anybody except maybe publishers. Like I've been a reviewer and a game designer. I'm a published game designer, and you cannot get by on royalties unless you're really famous. And content creation is tough, especially when you cannot get new games, which we'll be talking about in a second. And this is the reason why I started this series, because in Turkey, since August 2024, there was a limit on board games. So the consumers, us, we were paying twice the amount of board games for taxes, but we were still being able to get it. Let's say, literally, I just checked it today. So Wingspan in the States, I think it's the $50, right? So in Turkey, you get the same game. Is just today it was $104, just the same game. The perks of being in Turkey. But even then, even if you have lots of money, you cannot get it because it's against the law now, which is crazy. And
wow.
In addition to that, we don't really have freedom of speech anymore, because the States, you're still way ahead of Turkey. You get these crazy tariffs, but you can still talk about it. So we're just a little bit careful. So I've been watching lots of my American friends, and I feel sad for them. Obviously, the same thing. We've been through that one as a country. So we need really positive people like you. You have this beautiful energy, and it's really fun watching you creating content. And I wish you keep at it, no matter what happens. You'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
So, because reaching new games is really hard in Turkey, I decided to. So I'm asking this question to Turkish guests, famous designers and publishers, if they can only get 5 games from this collection. So things happen crazy, and I ask you the same question, but a little bit different. You had to move to Turkey, which you cannot buy new board games at all. And I see some nice collection behind you. I don't know how many board games you have at the moment.
I don't know.
You don't track at all?
No, I stopped tracking.
After 300-400 maybe? What's the number?
No, I think if I were to guess, it'd be about 220, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you had to keep only 5 games, which 5 would you keep from your collection to bring to Turkey?
Okay, and should I start with like the number 5 and then go down to number 1?
However you like.
Okay. All right. I will start with number 5.
Okay.
So this was actually really hard for me, because when it comes down to it, I don't need a lot of games. I currently have a lot of games because this is the industry that I work in, but I don't need a lot of games to be happy. So when you said five, I was like, oh, that's really hard because I'd be fine with just one.
Hmm.
But I actually like it would be so hard to work in this industry without any new games. So I do feel for you. I also think that when it like people can and should recycle so much of their content and they just don't. I don't either. But you can take like one game and make so much content from it. And if you know, I've put a hard stop on buying games out of my own wallet right now because it's just not financially responsible of me. And it's like, okay, like why don't I just start recycling content, recycling games I already have? And for someone who doesn't work in the industry, that's very obvious. But for someone who does, it's like, no, we're always trying to get something new. So I had to really think about this. And my fifth game, going backwards. So number five is actually Oathsworn Into the Deepwood with all the expansions and upgrades. And the reason is because it takes up a lot of space. It's there's multiple boxes, fills up like half a calyx, and there is a ton of content in it. And I think if I was only going to have five games for a very long period of time, an indefinite amount of time, one of them should be campaign like, where I could go and dive deep into the story. And if I have all the upgrades and stuff, it'll be such a nice experience. And I could take my time with the story and play with multiple people. And so that's why I chose Oathsworn. The other thing is I've heard really great things about it, but I've actually never played it. So I think if I were to take five games, one of them should be one that I've never played before, but I've heard so many amazing things so that there's something new in my life in that situation.
How much do you think the old expansions and the base game weigh if you put them in a big luggage? Like, do you think you can smuggle that into the country?
No. But if I had five, that's why I would choose that one so I could smuggle in others later. I've thought about this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, most of my games are actually the choices are the bigger boxes so that I can smuggle in the smaller ones later.
Nice.
Or have someone else bring them in. I don't know.
Yeah, just things we need to think about for the sake of gaming.
I mean, you asked me a question, I'm going to think through it. I mean, if I have five for free, why not? Why not do some larger ones, you know?
Yeah, I'll be asking the different ways, different angles of the same question. So what about your next game?
So the next one is Scout, which goes against everything I just said. It's the tiniest box ever and you can fit in your pocket. But the reason why I'm bringing it is because it was a hard choice between Skullking and Scout. The reason why I chose Scout over Skullking, I love them both equally, is because I think this would be a really great game to help people who don't have a lot of access to games, to bring entertainment in a short amount of time through a card game. And you can bring it with you anywhere and you can play it anywhere. I brought it to different countries already. And I've taught a lot of people who aren't regular hobby board gamers, and everyone's enjoyed it. And it's very easy for them to understand, but it still brings a lot of strategies to the table. It's not a lot of luck. And there's still a really good training exercise for your mind to help you with other similar card games.
How many Scout like? I don't want to say Scout like games because Scout is kind of like similar to Bohnanza. Have you played Bohnanza by Uwe Rosenberg?
I have played Bohnanza. I think that Scout has a little bit more depth to it.
Yeah, I think the Bohnanza it's the first game where you keep the arrangement of the cards as is, just then the Scout took it and the Japanese way of thinking of the game. So it's just, they're really good at card games. This Scout is a really nice choice. And Scout, you can put it into Oathsworn box, I think.
I don't know. Oathsworn has so much stuff. I'm like, can I fit more into those boxes? I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, Scout is a good collect. Scout is really popular in Turkey as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but people are just smuggling them out. It's just a lot of. It's like a friend goes to to Germany and just brings in lots of Scouts, on them and just selling them here. It's weird stuff going on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what is the third game?
The third one is Village Big Box Edition. So Village originally came out a long time ago, and it was through a publisher where once they sold out, they didn't get a reprint for some reason. And then years later, they came out with a reprint with a redesign in a larger box with the original expansions all included, plus some new expansions. And that was really, really cool. I played it for the first time over New Year's Eve this year. And it was so great. It's one of the OG games that I played. I love the Euro strategy to it. Euro games are my favorite. They're how I started out in this hobby. And Village is like a medium weight. So even I think this is a great game also for people who are starting out in the hobby. But also if you play a ton of board games all the time, Village is still going to make you think. And someone else can still beat you at the game, even though you've played over and over again, because they might have a better strategy than you. So I like the games that make you think, but you don't feel like mush afterwards. Also, Village doesn't take a long time. And I think the theme is really fun. Your little meeples actually die in the game once they pass a certain amount of time. And I don't know many other games like that. So I want to have some good Euros in my collection. And I feel like Village Big Box fits that perfectly.
Yeah. Village is also one of my favorites. The old version I played, the in expansion, the port expansion with the first print, and I kind of liked the art, but I got it when I could. Back then, the Village Big Box is still in my collection, but I never got into the table because the artwork is very different than the original. If you had to, option to have the Village Big Box, but with the older art, which one would you go for?
I actually have both, and I have everything for both, and I still go towards the newer one. And I think it's because, at least for me, I really, really appreciate the new art. It has, it's still an art style that is older. It's just not that specific older style. I forgot the type of art. Is it expressionism or whatnot with the little fine dots? That's what it reminds me of. And I love it. I think it's really beautiful. So it's just a different style.
Another question, a little bit of sidetrack here. As a reviewer, if a game is sent to you, but the artwork is completely done with the AI, would you be okay reviewing it?
No, and thankfully I am able to see the game maybe through like a Kickstarter link or their website or their Instagram, and I do research before I continue talks with any company. And unfortunately, I have gone through with one company where they were about to mail me the game, and then they immediately sent me something like a mock-up, and they're like, this is what we're thinking, and they immediately sent to me. I go, that is unrealistically too fast to send me that. And then I replied and I go, I really didn't think you used AI art. It didn't look like it to me. And that's why I was confused. I was like, so then I asked, I was like, I can't work on your game while you're doing this. And if it has this, can you please answer me? And then they did say it does. And so I was like, thank goodness I didn't actually like go through the whole thing. Not only do I not support it, but my community definitely doesn't support it. And I will not, they will not be okay if I do that.
Well, maybe in the future, because I don't think personally indie publishers can compete to what, like, for example, Awakened Realms, they're using, contemplating AI. And one of the my illustrator friends got fired because of the AI. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, things happen.
I think Awaken Realms did it is it for the Puerto Rico box cover? The redo?
I think
was it Puerto Rico?
The new Nemesis, there's like a new campaign because they openly said that they used AI. I personally don't mind if they're openly saying that they handle AI, but I don't really appreciate when companies use AI, but they say there is no computers used for this art, but in background they use AI, so it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
that's not honest. And for at least Kickstarter, they do have that mandatory thing now where you
Yeah.
have to state if you've used it and if so how, and so the consumer can decide for themselves whether or not they want to continue with that. So it's definitely a hot topic, and or at least it was before tariffs replaced every single conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you had to pick between, you talk about one topic until eternity, tariffs or AI art, which one do you want to talk about more?
Well, when you say until eternity, does that mean that the topic is evolving?
Uh, Depends on your personal hell. Like you die and you go to hell and you just talk about tariffs, or
I think I would talk about tariffs because they maybe I could make money from understanding how they work. Can I like how could I make money from I mean there's people that know so much about a certain topic that they can make money from it. So I think I'd rather make money from understanding tariffs than understanding AI art.
nice. You got this entrepreneurship mindset going on about tariffs, which I like. I appreciate that. So tariffs so maybe because we've been through that in Turkey, so I know what happened after that. We still have tariffs, crazy, and eventually the whole thing, this just importing stuff is banned completely. I don't think it will happen to the States, but do you think, like personally, how much do you think consumers are willing to pay taxes for, I don't know, like a $50 game? Like, what is the maximum amount that you're willing to pay as a taxes for a $50 game?
I think it depends on accessibility and where people live. So I live in Southern California. My taxes are already high with or without, what's going on. And so if I get taxed on something, it's almost like I just blink an eye and I pay for it versus someone else in maybe a less expensive area would never do that. And I don't know a good answer for that. I think that maybe a limit would depend on the relationship between the consumer and the company. And that's why I think relationships are also really important, and also transparency with the company. So if a company says, hey, because of the tariffs rising this percentage, we have to raise our prices on this SKU, and this SKU. It's going to raise, this is the original price, and this is the price we're going to have to raise it to. And this is the date when it'll raise, and you have until that date to get it for the original price. Afterwards, we're so sorry, we'll keep you updated. I think people are way more willing to spend their money there than them feeling like they've been blindsided, even though a company doesn't have to do that. So when it comes to board games, more personal and smaller companies and keeping those relationships are really, really important for them. And also trying to keep their head afloat, because I know of a company who is willing to pay all the tariffs just so backers can receive their game. I don't agree with that, because it's going to make them they're going to go bankrupt. They're they might have to pull from their own personal savings account and ruin their future retirement just so that they don't burn a bridge with their backers. I don't think that's smart from a business side. As a consumer, I would never want to do that. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm okay waiting for my board game, or I'm okay covering the cost if I really want it. And so just knowing those situations, you have to, I think, keeping transparency and keeping a relationship with your target market, plus making a smart business decision for you, that's a fine balance. And it's really hard to do those things when everything is changing so quickly every single day. Like every single morning, there's something new. So a lot of businesses right now, they're just on a standstill, and they're actually shutting down because they don't really have very many options. So that's why it's kind of chaotic. Right before our call, I just heard about some news with a company that I don't know if I should say because I haven't seen it officially, but of another company shutting down that publishes a very, very popular game. And it's kind of shocking to hear that they shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that news about that, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like, it's hard to do business. Like, really, I can totally understand things happening to you weirdly, but you know, there's some hobby within the hobby, which is print and play. Have you ever printed and play a game, or have you ever backed a print and play game, or would you do a print and play game?
Yeah, my very first Kickstarter I ever backed in my whole life was a print and play. And I've backed a total of three, two in the past few months. And it's very expensive for me to print them. So, like, one print and play game can cost me about $30, which makes me really upset because I go somewhere, I print it, and then I want it on a nicer paper. I want it colored, not black and white. And some of them I need laminated because I'll be writing on it and I can't go print it every time. So I laminate it. Then it just adds up. Storage is very ridiculous. I have these papers everywhere and there's like no box to put it in. I don't have a box. I try to get a folder that falls out of the folder. It's not the most convenient thing for me. Maybe if I had my own equipment at home, it'd be fine. I don't necessarily do them all the time though. I've the two most recent ones I backed were Hauntsville and by David Wallman. That was great. And then also 52 Realms. Mm-hmm. So that one is up for an award, I believe, for print and play from BGG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Postmark Games, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really great. Just roll and writes and flip and writes. I think they're really easy to build. And sometimes you don't even need to, if you have a PC or a tablet, you just do that. Maybe, do you think these types of games get more popular because of the tariffs, or what do you think?
That's a great question. I'd never thought of that. Maybe my own thing is if they weren't as popular before, it might not make a big difference, because I think what's actually going to go up is resale. So I think that people reselling board games is going to be very, very popular, and reselling board games will probably be more of a business than people realize. And like, I just sold a bunch of games at Dice Tower West. I could have probably hung on to them and then sold them for twice as much, right? Like maybe next month, Of course, I have no idea, but that's just my guess. So print and play is becoming more popular. I don't know. You're talking to someone who doesn't have a color printer, so it's not going to become more popular for me
yet. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah. Well. Also, you're talking to someone who doesn't need a lot of games. Like, I'm okay just having like a few, which is very ridiculous because you look behind me. But I don't know.
Well, yeah. Some people think that, okay, just we got crazy tariffs, so we have, I don't know, 100 unplayed games, so it's time to play them.
Yeah. My question is, why haven't you been trying to do that this whole time?
Yeah, happens. So, about your the next game, which wasn't.
The next game is Rajas of the Ganges. This is a wonderful strategic game again. I believe it is more Euro strategic. It's a worker placement game and it involves dice. It is one of the first board games I played where you're using dice placement. I didn't know what that was before this game. And the different colored dice can do different things based on where they are. And you can buy tiles for your own personal player board and build up your own land. And I really just enjoy the game. And the way to win is actually crossing your fame with your money. So this is before Arc Nova, but the quicker you cross both paths, the sooner you're going to end the game, and then you're going to win. And if multiple people cross paths during that last round, it's whoever crossed it more.
Yeah, it's so good. It's the second game you choose by Inca and Marcus Brandt.
The first one is Village?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Oh, I was going to ask. When you play a new game and it just blows your mind, and you check who's the designer or publisher, and you check other games designed by same person, designer, or a team, do you have that habit? Maybe.
No, I usually know before I play.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, right when I like I want to see the box, and then if it says it on the box, then I'm like, okay, I want to play it. Or everyone's talking about like this game is so cool, this game is so cool, you gotta check it out, and so I do, and then I can finally play it. Like one example is Galactic Cruise. I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to play Galactic Cruise for a long time, and I really wanted to play SETI for a long time, and then I finally got to play those games. I was so excited, and they were amazing, and I'm so glad I was able to play them. But yeah, I never for Rajas of Ganges and Village, I've had them in my collection for so long and I've played them for so long, I just forgot.
Yeah. So, do you think the hotness list on Board Game Geek helps you somehow to decide playing or trying new games? It's like my question is like, what makes you want to try a new game? Like at first, like you see it, is it because the publisher or the designer or the box cover art or is the BGG ratings? Like what makes you just, yes, I want to play this game?
Oh man. Part of it is honestly influencers. If an influencer that is my friend and they say, "Hey, I got to play this game. It is so fun and here's why." That really helps me. The other thing is if they have the similar board game style as I do. Because a lot of people who talk about board games, they do influence me. But if they love certain genres of games that I just don't love, I don't care what you say because it's kind of invalid to me. Like if you love co-op games and then you say this game is awesome and it's one of your favorite games, I don't know if I should believe you that I will like it because you like co-op games and I can't stand them. And I don't know if I should trust what you're saying. But that's where like, okay, what they're saying is influencing me. And then the other thing is what really gets me is if it's Euro-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Euro games so much. If it's Euro-ish and I see the words like rondel, worker placement, hand management, end game, victory point conditions, prestige, all those like little words, I'm like, okay, you're marking off all the things that I want in a game. I'm gonna back it.
Nice. I actually designed a game like 2 years ago like that, but I didn't like market it enough because my backers also complains like you should do better marketing. I was like, I hate marketing. I don't just want to focus on game design, but marketing is another thing of board gaming, which is I think that's where you come in. Like you focus on marketing side of board gaming.
Yeah, it is hard to handle it all. And I know there's marketing companies that can help you with that, but of course you have to pay them and it costs whole another expense. So yes, I totally understand that it is next to impossible to juggle absolutely everything. And a lot of designers go through that where they're like, we just can't do it all. And I think a lot of artists go through that as well,
Yeah.
where they are wonderful artists, but all of a sudden they have to become social media influencers. And they're not social media influencers, they're artists. They want to focus on making art, but they can't. They have to market themselves. And that's very, very difficult. It's hard to market yourself for any situation. And it takes a lot of mental energy. So I get that. And if you need, if you ever want to remarket again, hey, someone, I can help you out.
Yay! Yes. Thanks. I'll send you some. I'll send you mails after this. After we talk. All right. So you hate co-op games? That's the.
I dislike them with a great passion, and it's because of the people. The game is probably fine. Can't stand the people. They make me so angry.
So this is the alpha player question stuff.
It's like I see people. I have to deal with some people telling other people what to do. I'm like, just stop telling them what to do. How is this co-op? How is this co-op if you're just taking the steering wheel and then telling everyone to stop backseating? It's a co-op game. So then I yell at them and I'm like, why don't you just stop? Why don't you just back off? And then they're like, oh yeah, you want to fight? I'm like, well, yeah. And then that's my type of co-op game every single time. Except for the gang. I had a pretty good experience with the gang. But then I had a bad experience with the gang, but that was because of the people.
Okay. So like, my question would be, have you ever played a game and you loved it so much, but you played the same game with different group and you hate it so much? So that's the gang, I think. Or is there something else?
It was the gang, but it wasn't because of the game. It was purely because of the people. Like I actually I called them a fool. And they were bullying my friend. And I was like, don't talk to her that way. Don't talk to her that way. Stop talking like that. And I was like, if you're going to act like that, then get up and go. And they're like, no, she just didn't do blah, blah, blah. And I go, I don't care. I'm sorry. You asked a great question and it set me off. So there you go. Like, all right, looking forward to the next, group project.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy too much competitiveness, especially when it's come to, co-op games. There is some guy, it's like a matter of life and death. It's just a game, just chill. Yeah, that happens.
Yes, exactly. It's like someone's like, it's a matter of life or death. That is a great way of saying it. And you would think that in a strategic game, people are like that. But I never have it. Well, sometimes I have it with territory games. I have similar feelings about territory games because people get too involved with each other. But when it comes to strategic games, you would think like, oh, that's the intimidating type. No, like a lot of times people are in their own lanes just trying to figure out how to make the most points. Like not necessarily solitaire group games. Those are fun, but just any strategic game, everyone is like having a theme and they're like trying to build their rocket and trying to send people off and they're just waiting for their turn. And you might accidentally block someone, but you're not maliciously trying to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personally, which reminds me, I also don't appreciate people trying to make the optimum move every turn, especially if it's their first game ever. Like you're just learning the game.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just place your vehicle somewhere.
That's a hard one because you have to be very patient and you have to be very kind. They're not trying to do it to spite anyone. And at that point, my best thing is, hey, like it's okay. It's all, we're just playing to learn the game. We're just playing to learn the game right now. You might still win and that'd be great, but let's just pick something to do. And then next turn you can pick something to do again. And it's okay if it's not the best. I'm still trying to figure out too. And I've played it a bunch of times. So I just try to like talk them through it. Cause it's hard. It's hard. And they're not trying to be, mean or anything.
Yeah, hope so. All right. So, what's your last game?
My last game is the game that I'd be fine just taking by itself, and that'd be it. It's the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition. It is my number one game, and I said in the beginning of this that it was the very first game I played in the hobby, and I played the original version. The new version did come out with Alea and Awakened Realms. Alea is, I believe, owned by Ravensburger, and so their partnership, they were able to make a beautiful edition with a new vineyard expansion, beautiful components. I got the neoprene mat. I was able to fit everything in the box, so nothing extra. I did later on get the extra minis for all the little, farm animals and everything, and you can use them. You don't need to. It does make it cool and fun to like take a picture, but it's not needed. And so I played this game a lot. It's one of the only board games I play on Board Game Arena, and I'm also competing in this board game in October. I think it's October. So yeah, I can play at any player count. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. There's also a digital adaptation of Burgundy. Would you prefer playing, if you had to pick, if the digital version and the physical version? Do you still keep playing the physical version, or would you prefer playing on digital?
I have played the digital version, and it's cool, but it's a little bit different. I think it's a little bit unclear to see. Sometimes it's hard for me to see some of the things on it. And so just because of that, I normally only play on Board Game Arena, even though it's the older edition, or I do like the physical edition because just having everything there is just so nice. Having the special edition with all upgraded components is very, very nice. I really appreciate what they did with it. And I've taught so many people that game. I will teach anyone anytime. And that is a game where I don't play to win. I just play to try different strategies, to learn the different tiles, to challenge myself. Hey, what if I only went for farm animals this time? Or what if I only went for buildings this time? Or what if I never picked up a ship? And so I try to challenge myself in different ways to see how well I can do. and it's not about trying to be first place.
Really nice selections. Like this is all the games that you chose, and I really like them myself personally. I haven't played Oathsworn.
And neither have I.
Yeah, so we got the same stuff. Have you played other stuff by like Burgundy, Castles of Tuscany, Castles of Burgundy dice game? There's Castles of Burgundy, like a roll and write-ish game. Have you tried also those?
I have not. I don't own them. I have played Castles of Tuscany. It was not for me. I think it was too easy and too far from what's already there. So it's its own little game, but I don't need it. I actually got it and then I culled it. And the roll and write and the dice game, I've never played. I've also never played Castles of Burgundy solo. I have played Castles of Burgundy in teams. I don't think it's necessary. It was kind of like, why are we playing together when we could just have our own mats? That's what I felt like.
Yeah. Do you prefer playing any board game solo?
Ooh, there's some great solo games. And I do play a lot of solo games every single week, actually. Prefer playing it? Yes, there is one. Which one is it? I really like superbossmonster solo, and that's a newer game. Their new game that just backers are receiving it right now. So superbossmonster solo is really good, and Welcome 2 is fine with people, but it's also really good solo. Welcome 2 is a flip and right, and then Cartographers is also really good solo. It's almost like those solitaire-esque games where your moves don't affect anyone, and they can also be played solo. I really enjoy them. The Isle of Cats flip and draw game, that one is great solo. Then you have Dinosaur Island Roar and Write solo. That one's also fun. So I guess a lot of them, which are flip and rights or roll and rights, that can be played solo, they're great. You don't need to have other people. You can if you want.
Yeah, Castles of Burgundy by Stefan Feld. Do you think it is his best game as a design-wise? Like, have you played other games designed by Feld?
I have. I've tried to collect all of his games, and I stopped once they were picked up by Queen Games because they got really expensive, and then they came out with a lot, and I was like, okay, I got to stop. But I do think that it's his best design. I think another really good game of his is, I believe, Bruges, which is a remake now, which I think is called Amsterdam, maybe? I don't remember.
Lots of city names.
Yes, Bruges is amazing. I don't own the original copy, but I'll be keeping an eye out for it because I want the original copy over the reprint. And then I really like the new Queen edition of Marrakesh, which with the deluxe components, that is another great Feld game. And I think it's worth owning. I don't own it right now, but yeah. So that's why I think Castle Burgundy is number one, but he has a lot of good titles.
Yeah. My personal, In the Year of Dragon, if you haven't played it, I strongly recommend that game. It is really different than all the other stuff. It's a really good crisis management game. Strongly suggested if you can get it.
Okay.
So, my last question is, I think I already know the answer, but if you had to keep only one among these five, is it going to be Castles of Burgundy or something else?
It is. It is. I had to think really hard about the other games because I was like, I'm kind of overwhelmed. You know, nothing really sticks out. The only one that really sticks out is Castles of Burgundy. I don't know how reviewers and content creators do top 100 games. I'm like, top 100 games? Like, how long did that take you to make?
We did that once, top 50, and it is too tiring, and just my audience want us to make another list again, like an update. It's been 2 years, and I was like, nah, it was too hard to do, to go through. Our voice was gone to talk about games. Man. It was, I don't think it's necessary. Maybe once in every 5 years, maybe it's okay.
My question for you is, do you log your plays?
No, I just rate them sometimes to see, okay, I played this game, but my wife tracking everything, who scored how much, how many times, location, people, like this.
Location.
You know, Yeah, we do once a year. We talk about that on the audience. You know, how many different places we played with, how many different people, how many different
Okay.
games. So our audience love that, and my wife loves it doing it. So I don't log. Do you track your games on BGG or
I
some other?
don't. I don't. But I feel like if you did log your games, then it would be easier to do like a top 50 because you can just look at the list and be like, okay, like we played that one the most. Let's put that as number 10 or whatever. But but yeah, that takes a lot of dedication and a lot of, you have to stick with it every single game. To me, it seems more like work, and I already have enough work to do. If I'm playing a game for fun and I'm not sponsored or I'm not getting paid to play it, I'm just playing for fun, the last thing I want to do is have to write something down and do paperwork for it. That's just my own feeling about it. I know a lot of people don't have those feelings.
Yeah, I don't log them, but I just rate them. But I think I can stop rating the games because most of the designers are now my friends. And when I don't like games, like I cannot rate 5 or 6. So because I know the person, so but I shouldn't be biased also. So like, what should I do now? Like I just leave it at it.
And the other thing is, a lot of times when you play a game for the first time, it's not your final answer of your game. You were
Definitely.
just trying to figure it out. It's your initial feelings, but it's not your final. So that's why it's hard to like rate. And then of course, like what you're saying with the whole friend thing, like, yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of these games, I'm going to be rating low. But guess what? I'm not a board game reviewer. Okay. I don't review games because if I did, I'd probably burn some bridges here and there. Like, I'm sorry, your game sucks, but you're a really cool person. Not gonna say that. I won't even say who it was. I won't.
Yeah, I hope you don't say that to me when you play my games.
See, that's why I'm not a board game reviewer. You're like, hey, look, I want this game to be shown to the people. I'm like, I got you. It's not, hey, what do you think of my game? Okay, you want to know? You're opening that can of worms. But anyway,
Yeah,
I guess I get really passionate sometimes. I don't know.
yeah,
Still
which is
talking about
great.
co-oping.
Yeah, which is great to see. Yeah, yeah. All right. So if people wanna reach out to you and then write to you, talk to you, then say hello, what should they do? Which platforms are you on?
So I am most interactive with people through Instagram and through my Twitch channel because I live stream so often. People will just go into my Twitch channel and to chat. And if they say, hey, we saw you on so and so YouTube channel, hey, and I'll be like, hey, how's it going? What are you playing? And I'll talk to you directly right away. But if you want to message me and just be like, you know, I'm sorry, I really like this co-op game. How dare you say that you hate it? I hate you or something. I don't know. I'll be like, hey, cool. You can DM me on Instagram and then I'll block you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll say hi back.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I hope to see you maybe somewhere. Hope so.
you, you know what? This was so fun. Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me here. If there's something I can do, if I'm visiting or whatever, I will let you know. I will let
Definitely.
you know. I'll
Let you
wear a
know.
big long coat with lots of little pockets.
Yeah, let me know. I'll order some games so you can smuggle them. Okay, it's been really nice talking to you. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.